This time we're going to take a look at the syntax of a Java class declaration. Recall last time in our demo that our Java class starts with the keyword class, and this keyword public here is simply an access modifier, and later we're going to discuss that there are 4 access modifiers, and public is just one of those 4. Okay, it is the first access modifier with the least restriction. It's the one with the least restriction. So you can declare a Java class without an access modifier, okay, without keywords. So it would just start with class and then say the Java class name is hello, and then open and close curly and some fields and methods in here. Okay, so in this case, the access modifier that we use is no keyword. But as I mentioned in our previous video, the public access modifier is the one which is commonly used because it will allow this Java class to be open or accessible to all the other Java classes within the same project. So again, we call this part here the class declaration, consisting of 2 keywords, the access modifier, which is public, and the keyword class that indicates that this is a Java class, and then followed by what we call the Java class name. As I mentioned last time, the Java class name, the first letter of every word must be in uppercase. So for example, if the Java class has the name Hello World, then the declaration would look like this: public class Hello World. Okay, so that is the Java class name, and it consists of 2 words, hello and world, and each first letter of every word is in uppercase or capital letters. And the beginning marker of the Java class is marked by this open curly, and the end marker is marked by the close curly. This defines the what we call the scope of the Java class. Okay, that defines the scope of the Java class. So the scope of the Java class starts with this open curly and ends with this close curly. This is now a class is a unit of a program, and the class name and the source file name must be the same. As you have remembered in our last video in the demo, if the Java class name is hello, then the file name would also be hello, and the file name extension is .java. Okay, so again, class name and the source file name must be the same. So this is class name hello. The file name of this, when you save it as a file, would also be hello, and the extension is .java because it is a source code. Now generally, only one class is defined for one file. So if you're going to open this file hello.java, there is only one class inside that file, and that is this Java class hello. Although in advanced programming, we could have several classes inside a file, especially when you're going to employ the OOP concepts. Okay, but for now, stick to only one Java class in one file. The syntax of a method inside a Java class is defined this way. So if we take a look at the main method, which is this part here, okay, so again, the first keyword public is what we call access modifier, and usually we use the public access modifier That is the most commonly used access modifier because it will allow this method to be accessible to the whole project. So this again is an access modifier. We use public as access modifier. And this second keyword, static, we will discuss that soon. So for now, just remember that for main method, you need to have this keyword, static. And this part here, void, is called the type of value returned. Now, this is the same in C programming language. Remember, when you declare a function or when you define a function, the first part is the return data type or the data type of the value to be returned. Okay, that's the first part. And then next is the function name, right? And then followed by the arguments or the parameters. And then open curly to mark the beginning of the function's body and close curly to mark the end of a function's body. So the same is true in here in the method. In Java, we call functions as methods. Okay, so again, in C programming language last semester, we call them functions, but in Java, we call them methods. Okay, those functions which are defined inside a Java class are called methods, not functions. Although they act or they perform just like functions in C programming language. So this is the return type, void, and then main is the function name, just like in C language. And this part here is the method arguments or the parameters. So basically, the main method of a Java class or a Java program has these arguments, which means that it could accept string type arguments and it could accept several. As you can see that there is square brackets, which means that args, this one, args is a 1D array of string values. So this could be the elements or the number of arguments could be 0 or more. Okay, it could be 0 meaning no arguments. There could be 1 or 2 or 3 or more, but it should be finite number of arguments. And the open curly here marks the beginning of the method, and the closed curly here marks the end of the method. So from this open curly to that closed curly, that defines the scope of the method. Inside the method, we have this one or more executable statements. And we call this set of the executable code, which is inside the method, as implementation. So what is implementation again? Implementation is the set of code lines that are defined inside the method, so that when that method is called, all of those statements in there will be executed. Okay, so again, implementation is the set of statements which are executed when the method is called. So from here, we define method as a unit of functions and processes. When that is called, when the method is called, then the set of statements, which is the implementation of the method, is then executed. And the main method is the entry point of the Java application. So that when a Java class has no main method, if it has no main method, then that Java class or Java program cannot be executed. Now recall our demo in the previous video when we use println instead of print. Okay, so what is the difference between this method println and print? As I mentioned already in that demo lecture video last time, the println will display something if you specify here some string like hello world. Okay, after the After this string is displayed on the screen as output, then the cursor will move to the next line because this is println. Okay? While if it is just print, not println, then it does not terminate the line. The succeeding print will display the output on the same line. So like for example, in here, we have two println. The first println will display this hello world on the screen. Okay, so this is the output, the first hello world. And then since it is println, the cursor moves to the next line. Okay, so this means print whatever is inside here and then move to the next line. That's why the cursor is on the next line, so that when it executes the next println, the second hello world will be displayed on the second line. Okay, and then the cursor would move to the next line because that is println. If it is just print, like this one, the next example, okay, we're just using print. So what happens is that is displayed the hello world. Okay, that's the hello world, the first print. And then since it is just print, not println, the cursor stays on that same line, on the same horizontal line. And when this second print method is executed to display second string hello world, then that is displayed on the same horizontal line because the cursor stays on that line. It does not move to the next line because this is not println. Okay. Now, what if a Java class has no main method? As I've mentioned before, a Java program is executable only when that Java class has the main method. So if a Java class is without main method, what will happen? Can we run or execute that program? So we have in here an example of a Java class with a name no main, and it is given a name no main because it is a Java class without main method. So as you can see here, we have one method, this one here, which is, what is the method name? The method name is getValue. Okay, you will know that it is a method because it has this argument part, and in this case there are no parameters or arguments. So args here or parameters here is 0, no arguments or parameters. And what this method does is it simply returns the value of the variable with the name value. Next, we have in here another method with the name print. And this print method has one parameter or argument, and that is val. And the type of val is integer type. When this method is called, it will simply display on the screen the string value and then colon and then the value of val. And the third we have here in this Java class is called a field. So as I've mentioned last time, a Java class contains fields and methods. The fields are called the attributes of the object that the Java class is representing. Again, the fields are those referring to the attributes of the object that this Java class is representing. And the methods are referring to the operations or the processes that are available or that can be done to manipulate that object or what the object can do. Okay, this refers to the operations and processes that involves the object. So in this Java class, no main, we have two methods, and these two methods are getValue and print. So this is the first method and print is the second method. And the third element in here is a field. So This Java class noMain has two methods and one field. These two methods are getValue and print, and that one field is value. And so take note that there is no main method in this Java class. And so since there is no main method in this Java class, the program cannot run independently, cannot run it. We define a field as a value used in a Java class, and we refer to that field as class variable. So again, a field defined inside a Java class is called a value that is used inside the Java class, and it is referred to as a class variable. So this is the syntax to declare a field. We can use an access modifier just like we can use an access modifier when defining a Java class in here, or when defining a method. We use the access modifier public. Okay, so when declaring a field inside a Java class, you can also use an access modifier. So in this case, we use the access modifier public, meaning this field is visible or accessible in the whole project. And the next that follows is the data type of the field. And the data type used in here to define this field value is integer. Okay, int, that's integer, the same as in C programming language. And then follows the field name. Okay, so this is the field name. Now think of the way to declare a field as the same as the way to declare a variable. Okay, recall in C programming language that when we declare a variable, we first specify the data type. Say for example, the data type is integer. After that is the variable name, say x, and then we terminate it with semicolon. Okay, remember that in C programming language, this is how we declare a variable. X is the variable and int or integer is the data type. Now, the same is true for declaring a field or a variable in Java. In Java, we have the data type int in this example and followed by the name of the field. And it is also terminated by a semicolon. But one additional in Java is that we can specify an access modifier. While in C programming language, we don't specify access modifiers. Now, if you choose the no keyword access modifier, so this would be omitted, and what we have would only be just int value. Okay, so there is no access modifier here if we use the no keyword access modifier. Okay, so that would look like now a variable declaration similar in C programming language. So this is the modifier, the public, and this one in here is the data type, and this one in here is the field name. Now take note that any number of fields can be declared in a class, any number, which means a Java class can have 0, 1, 2, or more fields. Okay, that's the meaning of any number. So a Java class may not have fields or class variables. It may have one, like the previous example we have, and in this example we have value, one field. Okay, now in our demo, when we create a simple Java program to display hello world on the screen, remember that that Java class has only one method, and that is the main method. It has no field inside the class. So again, a Java class may have any number of fields. It may have 0 fields, meaning no fields in the Java class. It may have one, just like this one here, this example, or it may have several fields. In the case of methods in a Java class, the same as the allowable number of fields in a Java class, for methods, any number of methods can also be declared in a Java class. So this any number means a Java class can have zero method or one or two or more. Okay. So a Java class may have no method at all, or it may have just one method. It could be the main method or not the main method. It could have two or more. So just like in this example here, we have one field. Okay, this is a field. This is int value. So we have here one field, and this one is the first method, and the next one is the second method. So the first method is get value with zero arguments or parameters, and the second method is the print method with one parameter val of integer type. Now, since it says here that a Java class may have zero methods, so it is possible for a Java class like this one, we say public class hello, open curly, and close curly. Okay, and maybe we have here public int val. Now, can we consider this a Java class? Yes, of course. Okay. The Java class name is hello, and it has only one field, and it has zero methods. So the number of methods in the hello Java class is zero, or meaning it has no method inside the Java class. Now, is it possible that this Java class will have no fields and no methods? Yes, it is possible, because it says previously that the number of fields for a Java class may be any number, so it could be zero. So it is possible for a Java class like this one to have no fields and no methods. So the number of fields here is zero, and the number of methods is also zero. So this Java class is a valid Java class. Okay, it has zero fields and zero methods. It is valid. It does not give you any syntax error. But of course, if the Java class is empty, no fields and no methods, it can be considered as useless, because there is no field and no method. So there is no method to call, and there is no field or variable for you to set some values. So in summary, a Java class may have 0, 1, or more fields and methods.